We talk about Ralph, the icon, the legend. Tom Seaver, another icon and legend, on the phone right now. Tom, it's Kevin Burkhardt in New York. Thank you for taking the time to share in the great life of Ralph Kiner. And just, if you can give us your thoughts today, hearing this sad news about Ralph.
Well, it's one of those days you don't want to have, but it's inevitable, I guess, for all of us. In the words of my mother, she had a phrase for people like Ralph, and she's a goddamn fuel, and he was too. My dad played in the Crosby tournament. For 40 years. And one year he was matched with his amateur on the other team. Every pro has an amateur, and it was Ralph Kiner. And they, my dad said, I've got a son that's going to play in the big league somewhere. I thought I was probably 12 years old or something like that. And Ralph signed a picture, sent it home with Dad, said, "See you in the big leagues," or whatever, And I got to be a friend of Ralph Kiner's for 40 years, so 50 years almost, let's say. I guess my math is. I hope my math is right. I'm driving home, but anyway, he's thoughts of him. He just brings a joy, to your heart. His sincerity, and loved the game of baseball. I mean, probably there's not anybody that loved the game and loved to see it played correctly and smartly, too, and with intelligence. And that's the way Ralph was. He loved the game, and he loved the people in it. And he was really one of the nicest, dearest men I ever met. And he's missed. He just was a jewel. That's all I can tell you.
Tom, what did you enjoy the most about being in his company?
You enjoyed Ralph. He always loved to talk about baseball. Behind the announcer and all that stuff. And there was a man that deeply loved the game and deeply understood it and deeply understood hitting. So we were on opposite sides of the court, if you will. And it was great to have, and he was very firm in his convictions. And I think that's the only time that I ever saw Ralph. He would have sensitive moments of an argument about the strengths and weaknesses of hitters and pitchers. And he thought all pitchers were dumb.
Tom, what were some of those conversations like? I mean, did you get specifics on, how you would pitch to certain batters or how he would approach you? Can you share with us and some of the fans on some of those conversations and what they were like?
Well, I don't remember, you'll have to excuse my Lyme disease, but anyway, I don't remember things like that. I just know that you always have, it seems with Ralph that you always have the conversation was about pitching and hitting, or it was about golf, one of the two. And he loved my dad too. My dad was a fine amateur, an outstanding state champion in California in amateur golf, and he knew Charlie by first name before I ever got to the big leagues. And it was I think my dad told him someday he had a son that was going to play in the big leagues. And, it's like I knew him, but I was one of those fortunate people on the inner circle. The baseball inner circle that, could call him a true friend. And he was just a joy. He was a joy just on daily conversation. He was a joy if you shut your mouth and listen. You're going to be able to learn something, And that's the way it was.
I like that. If you listen, you can learn something. Can you expand on that? Just tell me, we just had Jerry Kuzman on, and he shared some great stuff too. Just can you tell us what the respect level was for the players, for Ralph the broadcaster? Obviously, you guys were all together an awful lot.
Well, he was a man that knew the game on an internal basis. Everything. He knew everything about the game, and you always you talk to a hitter. You talk to a hitter like Ralph. You can learn something. You can learn something about their mentality. And then it took me a while after, I firmly got my feet on the ground, and about whether, I think one of the things that he talked about was hitters, they always have to concentrate on their strengths, etc. And I kind of put that underneath my wing and said, listen, go with your strengths. Don't try to fool somebody. If somebody's better on you and capitalizes on your mistakes, that's part of the game. But don't try to trick somebody. I think he didn't put it in those words probably much more eloquently than I have, but he just fully understood the game and the game between the pitcher and the hitter.
Tom, thanks so much for sharing. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, believe me.